That's how good Chris is.
Yes.
I still hope that he's going to come back and make Olympia Open debut
Maybe he will.
one of these years.
What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with this post-show physique update from Sergio Oliva Jr. So he was very devastated after getting fourth at this year's Italy Pro Show. But more than that, he was devastated about the way he showed up on the stage because he gave everything to this prep and he ended up with a wide midsection, a flatter looking chest, which just totally ruined his look in all the front shots, especially standing next to all these crazy aesthetic guys like Oskar and Quinton Beastwood. So he was originally supposed to compete at Europa Pro Germany too, but he felt so down after this year's Yamamoto Cup, and rightfully so. I mean, he came into this show with the hope to win it and to secure his Olympia spot for this year, and he wasn't even close to achieving that. And I'm gonna go as far as saying this: the judges were a bit kind towards him because the way Louis Breed showed up and how granite he was, so ribbed, so detailed, he could have easily been top 4. Now, it was a terrible idea to skip Europa Pro Germany, and that was pointed out by Chris Cormier too, and all these other guys.
The first thing I said to him, let's do Germany and walk on and try there. I immediately went to check and ask for feedback, got the feedback, went to Sergio, said, let's do, and he said no, he doesn't want to do, and that's, I think, to respect.
Okay, but the thing is though, you're 40 years old or 41 or whatever it is. It's not many like that. You have to do what you can right now, no matter if it gives you a black eye or what.
Because if this was a peaking issue, then that could have been solved in 1 week time at Europa Pro. And the fact that he's about to turn 41, the peak for this year's Italy Pro, that obviously did not went right for him. So he had a perfect opportunity to bring a far better package, a much more competitive look in Germany. But he decided to skip that show. The fact is, he isn't getting younger, and his physique, especially the waistline, that isn't gonna get better. So why not compete while you still can? So would Sergio Oliva Jr., at his all-time best, at his 100%, would have been able to win this show against Ors and Quinton Beastwood? Well, I think we can all agree that the answer is no. It was just an awesome lineup. Now Sergio might do one of the shows in the post-Olympia tour. But what do you guys think are his chances now of ever stepping back on the Olympia stage again?
This sounds like you guys are no longer working together now.
It's definitely a possibility, yeah.
Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So is this the most streamlined physique from Michael Krizo that we have ever seen, at about 5 weeks out of any show that he has done in the past? Now that isn't the smallest waistline in the men's open bodybuilding. For Krizo, this looks very impressive considering the fact that he has another 5 weeks to go to tighten up, to fine-tune things, and to bring out more detail and more separation. So let's just all hope that Krizo plays it smart and he also goes for British Grand Prix, which is happening just 1 week before Prague, because he's gonna be in shape anyway. And with a guy like Keon Pearson doing this upcoming Prague Pro, we all know he's gonna be a big factor at that show, and that is like a guaranteed loss for Michael Krizo. So why not try and earn your Olympia spot beforehand and be done with that and enter this year's Prague Pro without any pressure? Now the only reason Krizo isn't there in this year's Olympia lineup is because he did the most difficult shows of this entire year, namely the Pittsburgh Pro and the New York Pro. And even with that back issue, that mobility problem, because of that shoulder injury, he was destined to win shows like Cali Pro and Toronto Pro. If only he just kept on competing for a couple of more weeks. And if he sticks to doing just Prague Pro only one more time, then he's going to be in a very difficult spot one more time Because at the end of the day, the goal is the Olympia qualification, and it has already been 2 years since Krizo stepped on the stage. And with the amount of posing practice Michael Krizo has done after the New York Pro, his stage presentation, that is going to be a lot better. Next up, we have 3.5 weeks out physique update from Brand Chen, one of the OGs of classic physique division. Now we can make a case for Branch having some of the best wheels in the entire classic physique division right now. The outer sweep on his quads, that is so damn amazing. Now that's a physique that 100% belongs in classic physique category. And I think every single bodybuilding fan out there, they are gonna agree on that. So if there were any doubts about his victory at this year's Toronto Pro Show, well, he made sure to clear all those doubts by showing up at his all-time best at China Pro. And his physique at that show, that was so complete because his back, that was also looking very improved and very much detailed, as that has been the biggest weakness, the biggest critique on him ever since he came onto the scene. And that was a literal definition of a very hard-looking physique on the stage. So that was like a perfect peak for the kind of physique that he has. And that is why even his back, which has always been the main reason why he has been unable to do that well, especially at the Olympia stage, even that was looking awesome. So the Olympia this year, especially that top 10, that is pretty much stacked. So in order for Branch to have a shot at this year's Olympia top 10, he's gonna have to come in even better than what we saw at China Pro. So Branch was top 5 at his first ever Olympia back in 2019. And that same physique that would not even place in that top 15 in this current lineup. And this is how much the classic physique division has evolved over the past 6 or 7 years.
I mean, he's the guy who can get the
I don't think so.
special invitation.
I think he's happy.
I think he's done too.
Yeah.
What for?
So you have got to agree with Jay Cutler on Cbum's stat that there is zero chance of him ever stepping back on a bodybuilding stage again. He's done for good. And with his second kid on the way, why would he ever try to risk his health, especially when every aspect of his life that is already fully established? Yes, we are gonna see Cbum stat on the Olympia weekend for many years to come, but only on his booth and in the champion seminar. And Cbum just announced that this is gonna be the biggest booth in all of the Olympia history this year.
We are showing up to the Olympia in a big way this year. Especially without me competing, we wanted to still make an impact. We're going to be having the biggest booth in Olympia history, showing up with all our brands, Raw, Bum Energy, Gymshark, and ESN.
So as promised, he's gonna continue to associate himself with the Olympia brand. And with that immense popularity that Cbum has, he will of course attract a lot of young crowd. So now that Ors has made a successful transition from classic physique into the men's open bodybuilding, beating a bunch of awesome bodybuilders, Cbum's Prague appearance as a men's open competitor, that is brought back into discussion. So many people out there still believe that Chris should have won that show against Martin Fitzwater. And maybe if the results were in his favor, he would have given more thought to being an open competitor, at least for a couple of years, while putting on more muscle, more mass. But Steve Weinberger said that Cbum needed another 10 to 15 pounds of muscle to be competitive in the men's open. So Cbum's legacy as the greatest classic physique Olympia champion, that has already been cemented, and that lives on. And it is time to let the man enjoy a very well-deserved retirement and hope that he can continue to inspire the next generation of bodybuilding. So are these comparisons of Quinton Beastwood and the reigning Olympia champion Samson Dauda justified? Now we can look at them in a different way, from a different perspective. Samson Dauda right now, he's 39. So he won his first pro show back in 2021. So at the age of 34 or 35, Quinton on the other hand, he's just 29 or 30, and only time will tell whether he can pack on enough muscle on that frame and fill it out the way Samson Dauda did. Because if he does, the potential is certainly there. Now I know people are gonna say He lost to a classic physique guy. But the thing is, if it wasn't for Urs, Quinton would have easily won 2 shows this year. Because Urs did also beat all of these other guys, and so did Quinton. So this right here is how Quinton is looking a few days after doing Europa Pro. And I do not think he will continue to diet for this upcoming France Pro. He has already done 4 shows this year. And this has already been a very long dieting phase for Quinton Beastwood. Now even if he did qualify for the Olympia, he's missing that density and maturity on areas like the back, the chest, the shoulders. Now Quinton might not have won a show this year, but he earned a lot of respect. And kind of the same thing happened with Samson Dauda too, back in 2020 and actually throughout 2021. Now I do not think Quinton needs a new coach. He was absolutely diced at this year's Europa Pro, so it is just a matter of time for him. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.